Hello my friends, welcome back. You know that saying, life is what happens while you're busy making plans? That's how I feel at the moment. It has been a good while since I finished my 2023 Project Life album, and it's been even longer since I've done any work in my 2024 album. But I've got a little bit of spare time today, so I'm going to do that with you. This is my album. It is a 6x8 Life Crafted album from Citrus Twist. And the difference between my 2023 and 24 albums is that I am not doing weekly spreads. This album, I'm literally just documenting stories. And so I don't ever say that I'm behind. Am I up to date with my stories? Absolutely not. But I am also taking that pressure off myself to have those weekly stories or weekly spreads done. And it means that I just have a little bit more fun doing it, to be honest. I'm not telling the same stories again and again, which often happens in my 12x12 project life. And I can pick and choose which photos I want to put in this album and which photos I want to document in my other various projects throughout this year. So this is kind of where I'm up to. Like I said, it's not up to date, that's for sure. And I've kind of been playing around in here with lots of different styles and lots of different colors. But one of the things that I am kind of trying to do is keep things relatively flat. I was kidding myself at the start of this year when I thought I would be able to get the entire 12 months worth into one album. I have since realized I'm going to need two, but that I'm limiting myself to two. I'm not going to put any more in there. So I think this is where I'm kind of up to. Got a few kind of holes in here. So my process is a little bit different for this album as well. I tend to, at the end of the month, go back, print a bunch of photos. So all of these spreads here were from May. That's where I'm up to. I go ahead and print all of my photos in one go with very little plan. And that way the photos are done, the photos are ready, and when I feel like sitting down, like I do today, I can go ahead and sit down and I don't have to do any of the tedious work. I can just play with pretty supplies. Now, some of the other things that I have enjoyed doing this year is working with supplies that I already have out. So I've just finished a little bit of a scrapbooking session for my Patreon page using the Heritage Collection from Maggie Holmes, and I figured it's out. Why not use it? The other thing that I want to do today is a little bit different. I haven't done this at all this year, but over on my Patreon, September is Sketch-tember. So I am focusing on sketches over there. I have a free PDF download with 50 sketches, but I'm also putting up an extra challenge this month. So I've got 3 sketches, one of which is a Project Life style pocket page kind of sketch, and I want to use that today. So if you are interested in checking out my Patreon, the link is in the description box. So this is the sketch that I have got to work with. Obviously this is a 12x12 sketch and I'm working at a 6x8. So the way I'm going to do that is just pick and choose the cards that I feel like work the best with the spread that I want to do. So let's get started. In all honesty, I've been used to using kind of kits and like traditional Project Life supplies this year. So it did take me a little bit to warm up into these scrapbooking supplies, especially because like I don't have like a whole collection. You can see I'm working with a pile of bits and pieces and scraps and whatnot here. So it did take me a little bit of time to kind of ease into it, but by the end I was well on a roll. All of the spreads that I'm going to work on today were from my birthday back in May. So they're all kind of continuations of the same story, I guess. So I am going to use these same supplies for all of them. I think there's 4 spreads I did in the end. And I do have the digital collection of Heritage as well. So some of the papers that are already in my stash here were printables, like I've printed them out, so the colors are a little bit different than in the originals, but I just kind of wanted to add color and pattern and fun, and I'm going to go back in. You'll see me at the end. I finish all of these spreads without technically without adding any story at all. I'm just doing decorative work at the moment, and then I go back once I've worked out like where my journaling is going to go on this particular spread. I go back and print my journaling. So I've been doing that digitally in Photoshop and printing it out on Avery matte clear sticker paper. And because I'm doing that, it makes sense to me to do sort of a whole sheet of sticker paper at a time. So I tend to have a lot of like half finished spreads with no journaling in them until I have enough that it makes it worth printing a whole sheet worth. I used to kind of do the journaling as I go and print it out and kind of cut it out of the sticker sheet and put it on. To be honest, it's just a whole lot of faffing. So I haven't done that for a while. I've been printing entire sheets for my notebooks or my project life spreads, whether that be finishing off my 23 album or my 24 album. And it works a whole lot better for me. It's a whole lot less kind of fussy. So I did this kind of like, I guess you could call it a title card, 43. I had to think about it, to be honest. I never remember how old I am. Usually I rely on Shane to remind me. But I used kind of a really bright blue in the background and put some gold glitter overlay on it, and then created a little circle that was already in that stash to put the number 43 on there. And I do want a space for a story, so this is it here. I just added a couple of stickers onto a stash card. So I've still got my scraps stashed by size. I trim anything out into 4x3s, 4x6s, or traveler's notebook size papers, and it just makes life a little bit easier. So I pulled out a grid card, and I decided to do just a tiny bit of decoration on this bottom photo here. I added one of those clear stickers. It kind of was the perfect size for the edge of my cake, and I'm using those clear sticker letters as well to spell out yum. Now, jump to my next spread. We had a whole fun day on my birthday. It actually really was the best day. Shane had asked me what I wanted to do, and I made a plan, and we executed it fairly flawlessly, and it really was one of the highlights of this year, to be honest. We went out for a delicious breakfast at a new place here, and Shane was sunshiny yellow outfit. He doesn't wear that often, but it just makes me so happy. So I had to kind of play off that with these colors. And again, one of these came out of the 6x8 paper pads, but the yellow there, the yellow polka dot, is a printable. So I wanted to kind of separate the two a little bit. It was a bit much having them together, so I put another little kind of more neutral piece in between, and I really love the way it separates it. But I love how sunshiny and yellow it is. My birthday being in the middle of May, it's a bit dark and a bit dreary. We actually had the most beautiful sunny day. It was probably one of the reasons I enjoyed it so much. By that point of winter, I am desperate for some sunshine, and the fact that it came on my birthday was even better. So I've just added a couple of puffy stickers there, one in kind of lieu of a title, and I've left a little space underneath there for a few words of journaling. I added a couple of the same black puffy sticker hearts onto one of the photos, and I really did want to add something onto this second photo, so I added a couple of those black photo corners just to kind of tie in the black elements there. Now, like I said, I started off slow, but we got on a roll, and now I'm kind of rolling through it. We went thrifting on my birthday as well, and I happened to find an entire set of the Good Place pop vinyl figurines. It took me a very long time to decide which one I was going to get, because I had literally, like 2 days before, just finished rewatching the series. It seemed like meant to be. I knew I had to get one. I ended up getting Eleanor here. I am going to add a bunch of journaling onto that first card that I did. So this spread here. I had intended at this point that I was going to leave that top right-hand pocket for my journaling. But by the time I start working out what I'm going to put in there, you'll see I end up finding a piece that I actually just really loved in the, I guess, the die cut pack. I'm not sure where it was from because, again, at this point, I've merged a lot of the stuff that I'm using, but it was perfect little kind of quote card, so I end up doing more of a filler thing up there than anywhere else. The gathered little thing couldn't have been any more perfect. I thought that was so right for the thrifting, and that, you know, it's a gathering of all of people's kind of unwanted goods, so treasures for other people like me, and I definitely found myself a treasure that day. So there's my little quote card up the top there. I had picked out this stamped paper. It didn't really like make sense with, I guess, the theme of the page, but the colors were just really pretty with that photo. But I didn't think that a title or any journaling or whatnot was going to stand out on there. So I did add a little bit of vellum at the bottom that I punched just to give it a little bit of texture. And I'm going to go ahead and start spelling out treasure with my gold alphas, realizing very quickly I don't have any E's left in the gold. So I'm going to switch back to black. And I also don't take very long to work out that those foam alphas are going to be far too thick. And this is what I mean by trying to keep things a little bit flatter in this album. I haven't used really any foam. Puffy stickers are about the biggest kind of thickness that I'll go in here. So what I did do though was just pull the foam off the back of it. It came off pretty easily, so that way I still get the same look of the alphas. I just don't have that giant foam texture underneath. So I adhered them all to washi tape so that I could get them straight, and then I added a little bit of glue to each of them. I'm going to hold that down for a few seconds just to make sure it's adhering, and then very, very gently peel the washi tape off. The only place that caught me was the E. It was just peeled it the wrong way, but it worked a treat for getting everything down in one go without tediously having to glue each one of those letters. So as far as my kind of filler card goes, I just used a piece of the wood grain paper again. This page ends up being quite neutral in comparison to that very bright yellow one. The wee quote piece had some little holes at the top, and I thought I could stitch them, but in the end I just used a couple of brads. They had some that were the right color. I was actually thinking I was going to go for some copper ones, but I had this really cute kind of mauvey colored brads, and they ended up in there. And those are 3 pages done. So I'm going to show you some close-ups of how it looks once I've got my journaling on there. It's really simple, but I just have fun putting these pages together. There were 4. I decided that I had only filmed 3, but since there was only one more sort of page protector with another photo from that day, I figured I would finish that off. And so I didn't really use a whole lot of the collection. I used digital printed paper, some stamps from Citrus Twist, and a big sticker. And that's it. That's 4 little pages in my album, all done and dusted. I can move on to the next story. Hey, thanks for watching, friends. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there are a couple of videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you again really soon. Bye.